Hello friends. In this video, we'll take a look at another device from LinknLink, the eMotion Max controller. It belongs to the same series as the eMotion Pro controller, which I've covered earlier, but it offers a broader range of features. The key difference from the eMotion Pro version is the use of a 60 GHz microwave radar. It has increased sensitivity, can determine not only the distance to an object, but also its exact position in space, and can track several objects at once. At the time this review was released, only the eMotion Ultra version is available on Aliexpress. All its basic parameters fully match the Max, with one exception. The Ultra version includes a power cable with a built-in temperature and humidity sensor. Therefore, this review will be equally relevant both for those considering the purchase of eMotion Max and for those looking at eMotion Ultra. We'll talk about everything in more detail a bit later. In the meantime, as usual, please support this video with a like. This way more people interested in smart home topics will be able to find it. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Model: LinknLink eMotion Max/Ultra. Device type: combined presence and illuminance sensor, infrared blaster. Interface: Wi-Fi 2.4 GHz, Bluetooth 4. Microwave radar, 60 GHz, for presence zones, tracking up to 4 objects simultaneously. IR transmitter frequency, 38 kHz, range, up to 15 meters. Maximum detection distance, up to 6 meters. Sensor coverage angle, 120 degrees. Operates through obstacles. Size, 61 by 61 by 25 millimeters. Power, USB-C. The device comes in a white cardboard box already familiar from the eMotion Pro version. On its front side, you can see the controller itself, the manufacturer's logos, as well as the logo of the Motion 2 mqtt system, which allows the controller to be integrated into Home Assistant. On the bottom side of the box, brief technical specifications of the device are indicated, which I've already mentioned, as well as the manufacturing address and the manufacturer's contact details. In this review, I will periodically refer to my previous video about the eMotion Pro controller. If you haven't seen it yet, the link is in the description. As for the package contents, in the eMotion Max version it fully matches the Pro. Inside are the sensor itself, a stand, a regular power cable, and a manual. The stand for the controller is made with a well-thought-out lever system that allows you to change the tilt angle and thus adjust the radar's optimal room coverage. The construction holds securely while remaining flexible enough. You can fix the sensor so that it confidently looks exactly at the desired area. As I already mentioned, the difference between eMotion Max and eMotion Ultra lies in the cable included. In the hero of this review, it's a regular USB-C power cable. In the Ultra version, however, the cable is additionally equipped with a built-in temperature and humidity sensor. That's where the differences end. I didn't find any other key distinctions. The package also includes a small but multilingual manual. It contains the basic steps for working with the sensor and a QR code for downloading the brand's app. I'll show all this in detail later in the review, so we won't dwell on the manual. Externally, this controller is no different from the Pro or Ultra versions. It is made in the shape of a compact disc with a diameter of 61 millimeters, made of white glossy plastic. The power cable connection scheme is the same as in the Pro version. The connector and the cable itself are positioned parallel to the body. This is convenient. The cable doesn't stick out to the side and doesn't get in the way when mounting the device on a wall. The reset button is located here as well. For installation, double-sided tape is used, which is already glued around the circumference of the backside of the sensor. In the photo are the Pro and Max sensors. Visually, it's impossible to tell them apart. Both are made in the same housing and look absolutely identical. The only way to distinguish the sensors visually is the model name inscription on the back of the body. In all other respects, they are absolutely identical, and all differences are hidden inside, under the hood. We move on to the logical part of the review. To work with the sensor, the proprietary LinknLink app is used. I already have it installed from the time of the first review. In the app, I have the eMotion Pro connected, which includes a presence sensor, an illuminance sensor, and one of the devices controlled via the infrared channel. To add a new controller, you need to open the menu in the upper right corner and select Add New Device. After selecting Add New Device, a list of categories opens. We're interested in the E-Series Hubs and Sensors section. There, we select the Radar Presence Sensor device, which includes the eMotion Pro, Max, and Ultra models. Next, the app suggests making sure that the indicator on the device housing is blinking. This means that the sensor is in pairing mode and ready to be added. Otherwise, you need to press and hold the reset button until the indicator starts blinking. The next step is connecting the device. The app asks you to turn on Bluetooth on your smartphone to transfer the connection parameters. After that, you need to select a Wi-Fi network in the 2.4 GHz band, enter the password, and confirm the connection. Everything proceeds according to the standard scheme, so there shouldn't be any particular difficulties at this stage. After connecting the sensor, the app completes the setup and checks the data in the cloud. Then you need to select the room in which the sensor will be installed. This is convenient for further organization of the smart home. At the final step, we set the device name. After finishing adding the sensor, the system reports a successful connection. Immediately after this, the app suggests updating the firmware to the current version, which at the time of testing was 61603. After connecting the main device, the app automatically finds additional modules that are part of it. First, it suggests adding the presence sensor. At the next stage, the app suggests setting names for all the sensor zones, the main one and each of the 4 configurable ones. But all this can be done later as well. After that, a brief installation guide opens. First, a simple reminder to remove the protective film from the mounting surface. Then it shows how to properly orient the sensor. The optimal position is with the power cable facing down, although the reverse option is also allowed. It's also worth considering the limitations. The maximum detection range in front is up to 6 meters, and with improper placement, the angle and operating area are reduced. In addition, the manufacturer recommends placing the device away from outlets, adapters, and routers to avoid interference. The sensor should not be placed near other electronics, especially powerful ones like TVs or air conditioners. It also must not be installed behind metal objects. They shield the signal. For maximum effectiveness, it's better to mount the controller on a wall or place it vertically on a surface. At the same time, it's important to avoid mirrors and glossy surfaces in front of the sensor. They can reflect the signal and distort the radar's operation. At the final stage, the app asks you to confirm the chosen position of the device. This locks in the settings and completes the installation. After adding the presence sensor, the app detects another sub-device, the illuminance sensor. It also needs to be added, a room selected, and a name set. Now, next to the added eMotion Max controller, the number 2 is displayed, meaning it manages 2 sensors, the presence and the illuminance sensors. Let's look at how the presence sensor works. By default, it shows the current status, whether there is movement or no movement. An additional option is available inside the plugin, Motion Trajectory Tracking. After activating it, a square grid of 100 zones, 10 by 10, appears on the screen. When motion is detected, the sensor indicates in which specific area relative to its position the object was detected. For comparison, the sensor plugin in the eMotion Pro controller looked a little different. As you can see in the left screenshot, it only showed the distance to the object by zones. Whereas the 60 GHz radar installed in the eMotion Max and Ultra controllers allows you to see not only the object's position relative to the sensor, but also to track several moving targets at once, up to 4 simultaneously. Let's see what other options are available for this sensor. Under the trajectory tracking window, there is a timeline where the history of all detected movements is saved. Below, the number of detected objects is displayed. Next come the zone settings. There are 4 of them here, as a reminder. There is also a general setting for the detection interval. This is the time that passes between the last detected movement and the sensor's status changing to no movement. The next block is alert notifications. Then come the advanced parameters, setting an interference zone, sensitivity adjustment, detection height setting, and activity track. Now let's go into more detail about zone settings. Each zone can include one or several squares from the general grid, which consists of 100 cells. For convenience, the zone is assigned its own name and a color on the sensor's map. For each zone, you can set individual parameters, the presence interval time, the delay before status change, as well as enable or disable notifications. In addition, the app provides separate time intervals. For each of them, you can configure the sensor's active time. For example, during the day you can make the interval longer, and at night shorter, so that the system reacts faster. Now about notification settings. When enabled, you can choose the 24-hour mode. In this case, alert notifications will be sent whenever motion is detected. Or you can specify a particular time interval during which they will be active. The interference zone is configured separately. These are areas on the map that the sensor will ignore. For example, a spot with moving curtains or a running fan. This feature helps avoid false triggers. And one more important option is the sensor's sensitivity. 3 levels are available: low, normal, and high. Another useful setting is the detection height. The manufacturer recommends placing the sensor at a height of 140 to 160 centimeters from the floor. At the same time, you can set the minimum and maximum height of the detection zone. This option helps to avoid false triggers. For example, you can exclude pets from the detection zone or, conversely, disregard ceiling fans and air conditioners. There is also an activity track section, but at the moment this feature is still under development. This is what the main tab of the eMotion Max controller looks like. Here you can see the data from the illuminance sensor and the current status of the motion sensor. The illuminance level is divided into 3 gradations: low light, less than 10 lux, normal, from 10 to 100 lux, and bright, over 100 lux. At the same time, the state of the present sensor is displayed, whether there is movement or not. On the same page, there is an option to add infrared remotes. It works the same way as in the eMotion Pro version. Each remote is added as a separate device and represents a set of commands for controlling equipment. However, there is one important difference, and unfortunately, it is not in favor of eMotion Max. In this version, infrared remotes do not support integration via mqtt and therefore cannot be passed through to Home Assistant. Whereas in eMotion Pro this option is available. I showed it in detail in the video dedicated to it. The process of adding devices, or rather command sets, is completely identical to what we have already covered in the eMotion Pro review. First, you need to select the device type, then search by brand, and if it is in the list, simply add the appropriate model. If the required brand or device is not in the database, the controller can be trained manually using the original remote. In this case, each button is memorized separately, after which control becomes available directly through the app. In the left screenshot, you can see 2 controllers added to the app. eMotion Pro is on top, and in this case manages 3 sensors. Below is eMotion Max, which currently also manages 3 devices: the presence sensor, the illuminance sensor, and one of the infrared remotes. Now we can move on to Motion 2 mqtt settings. To do this, in the sensor plugin, click the Settings button in the upper right corner, which is represented by 3 horizontal dots, and select mqtt connection. Here you specify the main parameters for connecting to the mqtt server: IP address, port, as well as login and password. Here we see the main data that the sensor transmits to Home Assistant via mqtt. The number of detected targets is displayed. In this case, there are 2. Next comes the indicator of motion presence in the coverage area and the current illuminance level. Below is the number of people in the designated zones. For each object, additional detailed information is provided: distance to it, movement speed, and coordinates along the X and Y axis. The maximum number of targets this sensor can track simultaneously is 4. For each of them, separate parameters are available: distance to the object, its speed, and coordinates. In addition, separate indicators are provided for each zone. In this case, they are shown as unavailable since I have not configured them yet. Next come the settings. The first parameter is the threshold for changing the brightness level. By default, it is set to 5 lux. This is the value at which the sensor updates the data. The next item is the update interval for illuminance information. The standard value here is 10 seconds. The same applies to the radar data update frequency, 2 seconds. Below is the X-axis reverse option, which allows you to flip the coordinate scale if the sensor is installed in a different orientation. And at the very bottom, the Wi-Fi signal strength is displayed. Overall, this sensor can be considered a step forward compared to eMotion Pro. It can track several objects at once and does this quite accurately. Moreover, it shows not only the distance to the object, but also its position in space. This opens up new possibilities for automation. For example, you can create scenarios where lighting will turn on only in a specific zone of the room. But unfortunately, there is also a serious drawback. Infrared remotes added through it do not yet support mqtt. And although in eMotion Pro this feature works correctly, in eMotion Max for some reason it has been cut. I hope the manufacturer will reconsider this point in the future. That's all. Thank you for watching the review to the end. I would appreciate your likes. They help promote the video on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel so as not to miss new reviews and tutorials. In the description, I will leave links to my social networks, Telegram channels, and groups for discussions on the smart home topic. Join in, it will be interesting. Thanks everyone for your attention. See you next time, and peace to all.